So Nigel Farage, how will you be feeling at 11 o'clock tonight?
Euphoric. I mean, this has been my life's work, really. I mean, 27 years ago, I started campaigning, nearly 21 years in the European Parliament, and when I gave up my career and everything to pursue this cause. So, look, I think it's an amazing, remarkable, historic moment. And what's so significant about it is just 10 years ago, there wasn't a single MP that believed in Brexit. There wasn't a single national newspaper that believed in Brexit. The trade unions, big businesses, this was something you couldn't even discuss. And because of a grassroots rebellion, it's happening. It's the people have overcome the establishment, and that's a remarkable thing.
Well, you are going to be happy, and you say the people have overcome the establishment. You know there are an awful lot of people tonight who are going to be very unhappy. What have you got to say to them?
This is the Westminster story, and
it's not the Westminster story. There are lots of people who are unhappy.
I really suggest you get out more. I was very interesting. I popped in at random to a pub in Westminster last night. And I mean, they were already having a party. People saying one more sleep until we leave. I've got so many people holding bonfire parties and events. Some people, of course, are not happy with this. But I get the sense, even debating this morning with Lord Mandelson, former EU Commissioner, even he accepts that this is happening. And I think the country's coming together. They're saying, look, we voted for this, it's happening, let's make the best of it. And I think that's the right place for us to be.
People may be accepting it, but as I say, a lot of people will still be unhappy as they're watching that event tonight. I mean, how do you feel about the fact that the country has been riven by this division for the last 3.5 years?
I know, it's awful.
Can't be happy about that.
It's truly awful. Never before in our history has a democratic vote been ignored. We normally operate on the principle of losers' consent. We've even had former prime ministers trying to overturn the result of a referendum. And that's where the bitterness, that's where the division has come from. And
do you not take any responsibility for the tone of the campaign during the referendum or even the arguments afterwards? You take no responsibility for some of that bitterness?
I think the arguments afterwards were truly appalling. I think the idea that was put that there were 17.4 million knuckle-dragging racists in this country was absolutely appalling. I mean, I genuinely do.
Are you happy with everything you did? What about that poster during the referendum?
It's funny. I saw
breaking point. All those people in Eastern Europe. This is coming.
I saw a picture of that in the Daily Mail yesterday. The Daily Mail using it, saying this is why this happened. This is why Europe is changing. Fundamental mistakes were made.
So you have no regrets about anything you've done during this whole campaign?
No.
The last 20 years?
Oh, look, of course, there'll be things you've said that you could have done better, of course. But, I've always argued that this is about one simple thing. Us being a self-governing nation, and normal nations make their own laws, choose their own friends, control their own borders. That is what Brexit's about. And look, there are battles to come, of course, over the next year, and we'll be having disputes on fishing and various things. But here's the important thing. At 11 o'clock tonight, we passed the point of no return. It's done.
What about, a lot of Brexiteers are saying, well, there's going to be no triumphalism. We want to be very careful. We want to be quite humble, respecting the other side. Do you feel like that?
I think what they're saying really is that half the cabinet are Remainers, and they don't really want to celebrate it. And
so are you going to be quite triumphant?
And most Conservatives are doing this because they had to do it for electoral benefit. They don't, in their hearts, truly believe in it. I think two things. Firstly, it's a moment in history that should be marked. And secondly, I think there is genuine cause for celebration because there's one big winner here. Nobody's been more critical of our whole political system in Britain than me. I don't like much of it. I think it needs modernising. But ultimately, it still works, and it's a triumph for democracy.
Are you worried that you might be rubbing the noses of people who don't like this in it, if you're going to be a bit triumphalist out there tonight in Trafalgar, in Parliament Square?
This is not triumphalism. It's marking a moment in time. It is marking something that in centuries to come, people will look back and say how remarkable it was that a grassroots rebellion got its way.
Do you trust Boris Johnson to deliver Brexit now?
Do whether I trust him or not isn't really the point. He has staked his entire political legacy on delivering us a proper Brexit. He said it again and again and again. Even yesterday, he was talking about a Canada-style deal. Now look, he is saying all the things that I've campaigned for a quarter of a century. If he sticks true to his word, that'll be great. And if he doesn't, well, do you know what? All those millions of people that lent their votes to him will withdraw their support. He knows he has to deliver this.
Is there one particular area where you're worried he might go wobbly, as you would see it?
I had to make a big decision before the last general election as to what to do. In the end, I stood aside in over half the country, effectively said, right, okay, it's yours, you do it. And I did it for one reason. A promise that was made that we would not have regulatory alignment on everything from financial services to fisheries. We have to be free to make our own laws. We have to be flexible enough to be able to do free trade deals around the rest of the world. And that, to me, is the key to all of this.
And you want to see him stick to that in this deal?
I want him to be an all-time hero who makes this country competitive, gives this country a sense of where it stands in the world. Yes, I want him to deliver, and I promise you, over the course of the next year, I'm not going to pack up my tents and walk away, as I was seen to have done in 2016 and criticised by many for. And hands up, I accept that's how it looked. But I will be praising him to the rooftops if he sticks to the current course and ringing the alarm bell if he doesn't.
So you're ready to step back into politics?
I want to keep a watching brief on all of this. As I say, the perception that I'd walked away in 2016 is not one that I'm going to repeat.
So you might be ready to come back in if you don't think Boris Johnson's delivered?
If Brexit is not being delivered properly, if we're giving too much away, I will sound the alarm bells. I will get back out campaigning.
It's not the end of Nigel Farage.
Well, I think it is. I actually feel optimistic. I think they are going to do this, because if they don't do it, they'll lose all the support they've got. But I'm going to keep a watching brief.
Nigel Farage, thank you very much.
Thank you.